church in a big way. And I don't know the numbers on it, but it's huge. The amount of people that claim to be Christians, they're part of Freemasonry. And the thing you have to understand too is Freemasonry is, it's like two organizations. You have the hidden organization in which the enlightened, the illumined, the true teachings of Freemasonry. Then you have the adepts, kind of we're out of it. We don't really understand what's going on. They have all kinds of symbols and things that they use. And these symbols basically in Freemasonry are really they're esoteric symbols which point towards a deeper meaning. And it's based on Gnosticism. I don't want you to see this, and a lot of people don't realize this, but the Gnostics believed in two gods. You guys aware of that? There are two gods in Gnosticism, and that the God who created was evil. In the Gospel of Philip, which is no gospel at all, 3rd century writing, Philip wasn't even alive, but it states that the world came into being through error. So this whole world was a big mistake. The agent who made it wanted it to be imperishable and immortal, but he failed. Now, who was it we heard yesterday that said that God, who was the biggest failure? You remember that? Who was the biggest failure in the Bible, according to a particular person? Kenneth Copeland. He said God was the biggest failure. It's interesting, too, in some of Kenneth Copeland's literature, he has a Masonic compass, with the compass with the what do you call it? Yeah, the square. And so it's kind of interesting that he would use terms like that to say God is the biggest failure, because this is Gnosticism. That's the idea from Gnosticism. And it says the Gnostic Gospel of Mary tells us that an inner circle of the initiated receive secret knowledge through or esoteric doctrines. Mary asked Jesus in a vision if one sees a vision does one see the vision through the soul or through the spirit? And Jesus answers, neither. The mind which lives between the two sees the vision. So what he's talking about here is the third eye. You see in Hinduism the little dot they put on the forehead. That is referred to as the third eye. You also see it on the dollar bill. And basically the third eye represents illumination. When you come into the point of illumination. So basically, they're talking here about esoteric, occultic philosophy. The word Gnostic actually comes from the Greek word gnosis, which refers to a hidden knowledge available only to the enlightened. Our real need is not forgiveness, but self-enlightenment. That's the salvation of the New Age, is we just need to be, we're basically divine, we just don't know, we just have to come into that. And because of the fact that this God that created the universe failed, matter is evil. And is the creation of the lesser God. Remember the two gods, there's a greater God and a lesser God. However, the human body contains a divine spark that fell from the good, true God. Gnosis knowledge enables the divine spark to return to the true God from where it came. So is Freemasonry religious in its practice? Masons will all the time tell you, no, it's not. I'm a Christian. And it just may be that they don't know, because this stuff that you've got people that are involved that don't understand what it's really all about. They think it's a fraternal organization that do good things, kind of like the Mormons do good things. You look on the outside and it looks good. But basically this is what the whole purpose of Masonry is, to find and search for Masonic light. And Freemasonry says in your search, this is what from one of their publications called The Master Mason. In your search for Masonic light, Freemasonry's value to you will be in direct proportion to your understanding of its secrets. It's a secret society, right? Your devotion to Freemasonry's great mission of bringing to mankind a full comprehension of the brotherhood of all men. What is that? Universalism, right? We're all brothers. We're all one, right? Under the Father of the one ever-living God. So it is religious and it teaches monotheism. It's interesting they say that. They say there's two gods. I haven't quite figured that one out. But yet it is not sectarian or theological. Why don't they want it to be sectarian or theological? Because doctrine what? It divides. And the ancient and approved rule of Freemasonry forbids the discussion in Masonic meetings of creeds, politics, or other topics likely to incite personal animosities. And here we see in the, here's Albert Pike. He was a Grand Commander of the Scottish Rite. He says this, he says, every lodge is a temple of religion. Okay, so this is a good one to show your people you run across that are Masons. They say it's not a religion. Here's the big guy, Albert Pike, telling you that it is a religion, and its teachings, instruction in religion. Masonry, like all the mysteries, he's telling us right here, Masonry is part of the mystery religion. Uses false explanations. What do you call people that tell things that aren't false? Call them liars, right? They're saying right here that we're liars. We don't tell the truth. And misinterpretation of its symbols to mislead those who deserve to be misled. In other words, the ones that deserve to be misled are the ones that are in the outer core of Freemasonry. They haven't gotten up to the 33-degree Mason level, and they're still not enlightened. They can work towards that, but it's very few that actually reach that level of 33-degree. Here's what 33-degree Mason Manly Hall says. He says, to the altar of Freemasonry, all men bring their most votive offerings. Whether they receive their teachings from Confucius, Zoroaster, Moses, Muhammad, or the founder of the Christian religion, so we get included there, just as long as they believe in the universality of the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of all men. Okay? Meet upon a common light level. So basically we've been talking about, we've got to get away from doctrine if we're going to have a one-world religion. We're going to have to find common ground, give way on these things that separate, and just come together on the things that are going to give us common ground. We can all say we're all brothers and sisters of God, and we're all going to heaven. There's no hell. And again, Manly Hall says, he says, the true disciple of ancient Masonry has given up forever the worship of personalities, like Jesus.
Yes.
They've given up on that. As a Mason, his religion must be universal. Christ, Buddha, or Muhammad, the name means little. Doesn't matter who you call him. For he recognizes only the light and not the bearer or the person. So in other words, in Masonry, what we're trying to do is we're just trying to find the Masonic light. Right? That must be good, right? Light, isn't light a good thing? And it used to be too that the Catholic Church was really, they would really frown upon Freemasonry, but they really opened themselves up to the Freemasons.
Wow.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.